Hello, in this lesson you are going to learn about indents and how to control the indents. Let's make sure your ruler's on your screen. Please click on view ribbon, confirm there is a check mark on ruler and you can visibly see the ruler at the top and the left side of your document. Alright, let's go ahead and point out the indent buttons. Let's go back to the home ribbon and there are two buttons. One says decrease, one says increase. If you can't remember which one, just pause and let the mouse tell you which one you are on. Alright, we are gonna start with the first line indent. A couple of things are gonna happen. When we insert and hit the tab on your keyboard, you are actually going to see the item right here on your ruler adjust itself. So I'm going to press tab in front of this paragraph and this is called the first line indent. As you can see, what looked like an hourglass is now split apart. When I float my mouse into the tab arrow, it actually shows the first line indent. That's what it says. Now, the bottom one says left indent. Even though it looks like there is two little pieces there, just one little piece, and it says left indent when I put the mouse over here. Alright, so that basically is the first line indent. Now let's go ahead and use the left indent. By the way, the first line indent went by default just half an inch. It's just how it's programmed to do that. Alright, now left indent technically means the entire paragraph is going to move from the left margin. It's going to move in by half an inch. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit my increase indent button. I will just click it once and you can visibly see the entire paragraph moved. But I take a look at the roller that moved as well. Here we go. I could have myself floated my mouse right over here on the bottom arrow and clicked and dragged the whole thing myself and place wherever I want to. You have the control to do that. That is why I am making a big deal of the ruler and these little items on the ruler here. Okay, now these buttons up here to increase indent will move you exactly a half an inch forwards or backwards. But you can control it by clicking those tools on the ruler itself. So that's your left indent. Now a hanging indent. Let's go ahead and select item 1 to 3 and we are going to apply numbering to do on this. Now watch the ruler. When I click, my ruler just split apart. When I float my mouse up here, it says first line indent. When I click in hold, you see the guideline on my screen go right beside the 1 to 3 and right over here is the left indent portion of the contents and you can see the guidelines on the screen. I can adjust this one and move it wherever I want to. But when I adjust this top one, that simply spreads the numbers of part and away from the list. So again, you have full control. If only someone would have told you long ago that they will just hit the numbers button. Oops, when I turned it off, the whole thing turned off. I have to highlight it all, hit the numbers, to bring back it together. So that's the easy way to do numbers. Turn them on, turn them off. But you can control the way of their placement by using these tools on the ruler. Alright, a hanging indent in a paragraph. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit the increase indent by half. But now I'm going to click this top arrow, first line indent, and pull it back and that is technically a hanging indent, which actually looks really cool on formal reports. Alright, now the double indent. Double indent simply means it's going to be 1 full inch from the left edge, 1 full inch from the right side. So that's easy to do with the left edge. Two ways I can click and drag it. There we go, 1 full inch, or I can hit my increase indent twice. You are gonna double space that paragraph and put quotation marks around it. So Control 2 is the quick way going to double space paragraph. Okay, so there you go. That's how you control and then apply indent. Move them around. Alright, thank you. Hello, I would like to talk about line spacing. Now, in this first paragraph, line spacing basically is set at normal, and basically there is enough white space between the lines and text for the human eye to just discern the text. But maybe you wanna adjust it or change it for whatsoever reason. So the button is on the home ribbon. Under the paragraph group, it's right here, line spacing. When you hit the drop down arrow, you can see all the options. And as I float my mouse along here, you are going to see that first paragraph adjusts itself because that's where my insertion point was. This is a paragraph feature, so whatever paragraph I have clicked into, I don't have to select the whole thing, just be in the paragraph. Here is one and in eighth line spacing, 1.5, double line spacing, 2.5, and 3. We had a single spacing, we had double spacing, that was it. But at some point, Microsoft decided to go to 1 and an eighth spacing as the standard, which is fine. It just spreads it out a little more. So, alright, let's go on to the next one. Double spacing was basically if you were writing an essay or a script and someone would be making editing marks into that onto that paper. They needed room to write those marks, so that's why we go to double spacing. So I'm gonna click into the second paragraph, click on the line spacing button and choose to. Okay, so there you go. And there's plenty of room to write those marks. Now the last paragraph is if you really wanna spread things out, you can go 2.5 or 3. But in all my years of office work, I never had used 3 point. Line spacing, but for some reason it is now an option with Microsoft. You can choose that if you want. Well, this is all fine until you reach point where your text is going off the page unnecessarily and you need to pull the lines closer together. The best way you do that would be simply select the entire document. Okay, I just did a click and drag and it rolled off my screen. And now I can just switch it back to single spacing. Well, there is a trick to do that. Control 1 on your keyboard. Control 1 is single spacing. Control 5 is 1.5, so it would be single plus a half. So Control 5, 1.5 spacing. Control 2 is a double spacing. And that's it for the control keys. We have 1, 5 and 2. Alright, if you want to do anything further or differently, you must use this button and go to 1 and an eighth or 2.5 or 3. It's your options. I will go to 1.5. But we have one more option in there called line spacing options. Here's my indents and spacing. line and page breaks. So I can add lines a little before, a little after the paragraph. But right over here, this is 1.5 lines. So I can click on that and go to single and a half double, at least a certain amount exactly, or multiple options. Okay, if you actually have to save on space and get technical, here's how you would do it. Alright, I hope that helps you and I hope you learn those control keys that are very awesome. Thank you.